to go to the gym,
burning,
goddammit.
burning
Bro,
the
you can go
midnight
to the gym.
oil.
You're off
You
tomorrow.
know,
Like, what you mean?
fellas, how do we do
Hey,
this?
I like
Fellas, we
going
have
early in the morning.
what you call it this weekend. How do we get to
bro,
this point? God dang it, I can't book this. You know, in the past I used to be able to, but you know that dang on Triple H.
that
Brothers,
was
we're here to
literally the whole
discuss
show
it.
last week.
Yeah.
That was literally verbatim the entire show last week.
Hey, you came in with your HB Kizzle TRDA fresh.
I know. You feel me?
He got physical last night though. Like I'm ready
Bro,
for
he
I
Shawn
saw
put
Michaels.
that.
he's ready to put hands on that dude.
Yeah.
He getting that itch.
His
Hey,
his
man.
hair's all slicked back. I saw it behind his hat. I said, okay, his hair's slicked back. It's back to being dirty blonde, no gray. I just wish
That's because he don't want to deal with the Rock. He don't want to deal with that smoke. His daughter got touched.
Hard times.
He's about to pull up.
Yeah, Rock have a little bit of macho man in him. Like, don't let nothing happen to her, you know.
That's how they gonna get back in the Rock's good graces. The bloodline gonna go save her. I got you, Ava. Don't you worry. I'm gonna protect you. I'm your tribal chief.
Bro, don't start doing Macho Man impressions.
Oh, yeah.
That was my solo impression. I'm your tribal chief.
Solo's an interesting character, but you know what else is interesting character? Red lights, because it is on, and we are here for a very, very, very special Thanksgiving, if you celebrate, Survivor Series tradition. But not only that, we have to tap into, once again, good brothers, another episode of our favorite pro wrestling soap opera, As the Bloodline Turns. It turns out last week we had an entire show pretty much making it clear that Seth Rollins had to be the fifth man, only for the good brothers to decide, no, realness, I think you got it wrong. I think we're going in a different direction. And by God, God dang it, guys, you were right. And tonight we are going to talk about it, as well as get into the entire card for Survivor Series, War Games, all that and more. Triple H, I still don't trust you. Same as I don't trust you. And why the heck is Paul Heyman dressing like freaking Solo Sikoa? Let's get it. Ow!
Houston, we have a problem.
Perfect.
Sound like it's power.
Welcome to the Wrestling Rundown podcast, where we take a deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. No, it's like Dragon Ball Z the realist himself, the big dog, not to be confused with Roman Reigns and all his issues and his frazzled, stressed out hair. The way out, and he is your host, the smoothest, the super producer, Brother Hugh has a third. A to the A to the S, T to the H to the E, 3 to the R, to the D, in the building tonight. And he is your host, not just any guy, but the live band man, your curator of championship culture, Brandon the Guy. Yep, there it is. I didn't do that, by the way.
He couldn't wait to do it. I know he couldn't wait to do that.
It wasn't me. And he is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, the creator, the founder of the wrestling realm, still in 2024 going to 2025. Mr. Still Your Goddamn Show. Brian H. Waters in the building. Brian H. still has heat with previous people who've had shows.
Wow.
Brian H. Good time slots. Yep.
Wow.
All that more.
Buried that, you know. It's settled in Philadelphia, I thought, but you know.
No, listen to me. It's nothing personal. You had to do the job. Yeah. Welcome to
Don't believe in him.
Realm Now podcast.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
said at the
crazy.
beginning, we're deeper dive into the world of professional wrestling. Now.
Right
We
now.
are here once again, good brothers. And as you can tell by my demeanor, I'm not as fired up this week as I was last week. I was a little upset. I was a little perturbed, but I've calmed down. I have found my center. I have found my reasoning behind why Triple H is just toying with us. And you know what? it's time to clap back because I've got some comments today, but there is so much more to get into. We're on the heels of Survivor Series War Games. Now, Brian H has made some very interesting points when it has come to Survivor Series. Everybody knows when it comes to the traditional, what were known as pay-per-views and now PLEs, Brian H does these deep dives. And he came to a certain conclusion about Survivor Series. And we have to get into that as well. Not to mention the wrinkles. Paul Heyman has returned. He looks a little different, right? But he didn't return alone. He returned with help. We finally have our 5th member for the OG bloodline. And guess what? I'm still suspicious in the midst of it all. And not only that, we have to get into what did you watch and all that stuff. We're going to go really, really late into Thanksgiving. The brothers are like, no. And I'm like, yes, it's going down. But we'll see how fast we can get out of here. But not before we have this goddamn conversation. So let's get this show on the road. So welcome, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the comments that are, joining us. And trust me, I'm sure you are looking forward to this just as much as the rest of us. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring to the attention of those who are listening and watching the latest, the greatest, the newest show to the Wrestling Rum Network, if you want to call it Championship Culture. Championship Culture every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on the wrestling on youtube.com/the I want to keep saying wrestlingrum.com on youtube.com/the wrestling rum playlist Championship Culture. Well into season 3 was a very interesting episode this past Tuesday. Now, why was it interesting, Realness? I'm glad you asked. Because we are in the middle of probably the greatest, most dramatic saga in the history of professional wrestling as of right now in the Bloodline Civil War. And the guys at Championship Culture, not just any guys, but Brandon the Guy and his super producer, Brother Hugh Has the Third, they decided to break down the lineage of those involved in this new bloodline in comparison to the old bloodline and all the accolades and championships that are wrapped up into this one mega conglomerate of young superstars looking to make their name and imprint in this industry. But with that being said, brothers, who wants to tell the world and break down and introduce the very special guest that you had on the show and what this episode, this Tuesday of Championship Culture was all about?
Look at you. Looking like a juicy blueberry over there. Look at you.
You grabbed the wheel. That was very 2004.
Yeah, did you see him, right? You saw that, right? So all bad. Yesterday on Championship Culture, with everything's going on, in 7 months, we've seen a dominant force happen, right? We've seen the new bloodline kind of take over, right? But the problem or the question we have, why is this new bloodline so dangerous? So the only way Championship Culture could do, we had to go back and explain to you why. Because we got to see the bloodline grow up in front of us in WWE. These guys grew up outside of WWE. They have accolades. They have championships. They have dominant reigns. And if you want to see the breakdown of why this bloodline is more dangerous, and I'm going to just keep saying in 7 months, go check out Championship Culture. When we were joined by, do you want to tell them who we were joined by?
We were joined by Mr. Podcast Smitty himself, Shannon Smith of Boom Broadcasting, host of Quick Hits on Boom Broadcasting. Quite a knowledgeable guy. And that we heard that accent, very thick accent last night from that North Carolina accent. We had a good time though. He was very knowledgeable, came on, did his thing, and gave us his take on why the bloodline is so dangerous. So y'all definitely should tune in.
Yeah, he definitely had on Bullet Club shirt, and he definitely made some references to that time in New Japan, because I don't know if people really understand. You had a team, and it's just a tidbit, that made it big in, the biggest company over there, and came straight over here and I think we're just scratching the surface. And we're waiting for the notes, because the notes are going to probably be a little bit more and be revealing. Look at him. Look, he's reviewing the notes.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready.
He's ready.
Well, you guys already said the magic words. You guys said New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen,
hey, let me help you out. Let me make it easier for you. He only gonna talk about the Good Brothers. Go ahead. I got it.
You heard the yippee, so you know what that means, right? Clearly, I've got noticed. Now, when I heard the title of this week's episode, right, understanding and trying to really grasp how dangerous this version of the bloodline is. Brian H., this is going to bother you because you're an OG bloodline kind of guy, but it's okay. Just bear with me, boy. Bear with me, boy. And there's a crazy history that comes with each and every one of these individuals. And if you want to add Big Bronson Reed into that mix of their previous history and their championship lineage that kind of brought what we're seeing today as the bloodline together. So some of my favorite things that I enjoyed, one of the most surprising things that, well, it depends. If you know me, you're not surprised. But for those that may not be as familiar with myself and my taste in professional wrestling, the Guerrillas of Destiny, one of the most decorated tag teams of our generation, their success in New Japan got so to the point where they had to split them up. Now, not to mention, Tama Tonga was a deadly individual before his brother came back over. While his brother was still riding on beach cruises with Sin Cara Black, you know, Tama Tonga was making a name for himself in the original Bullet Club, you know, handpicked by his good brother Finn, as well as the Good Brothers. Good Brothers. And as you see, Brother Brandon is grasping to that never open weight championship. It's a championship that I never really understood completely, but if you go back and you watch those who have held that championship and what they've done in the matches that came from those bouts, you understand completely. Now, we don't have time to do that because that's just an entire New Japan Pro Wrestling show. And we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about War Games.
War Games! Of War Games! War Games! War Games!
Thank you, William. But before we talk about War Games, William, we have to continue talking about championship culture and the lineage that the bloodline holds. You talk about Jacob Fatu and his run that he had before getting to the WWE. Most people remember him mostly from his MLW run. That was probably the most mainstream exposure that people really got their hands on. So it was fun. Not the man he gave some much needed love to my man Tongaloa. He's been the butt of a lot of jokes lately, but he was a powerhouse. You know, once the Guerrillas of Destiny went their separate ways, and of course, you know, they embarked on a singles career. He had, you know, quite the build-up. Not to mention Bronson Reed, my guy Big Jonah. When he was first released from WWE, he showed up in New Japan to kind of establish his monster status. You know, New Japan is notorious for having a Gaijin monster. One of my favorite things over the years. Giant Bernardo, Vader. You know, the list goes on and on and on. Not to mention all the times Andre the Giant showed up and wow, the people of the Rising Sun, and well, let's not forget Antonio Inoki. Is goodness gracious, he was like 6'10" his own self. But so much lineage attached to it, so much to really get into. And one of the most important things that I wanted to mention, as far as championship culture, and this will be my last note because we got a lot to get into today, is hot damn, it's Nick Ram, and there you have it.
And I understand that reference. Go back and watch the episode of Championship Culture.
If you want to see that episode and get deep into the conversation, I'm not giving it to you. You have to go and you have to check it out yourself. Go back to youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm, playlist Championship Culture. And once again, catch that show every Tuesday, 8 p.m. You won't regret it. Go back and watch all of season 2, all of season 1, and just jump into it. Be involved in the culture as this brand continues to grow and expand into the world of professional wrestling. Brian H., ring the bell.
All right.
Why don't you ever remember what button it is?
Right.
You should get, you know what you should get, Brian H.? You really should get like a real bell and just ding, ding, ding.
That type of week.
Okay. That's dope. So every week on this show, we have a segment called "What Did You Watch?" We watch all types of wrestling. We consume so much so that our minds and our hearts can be prepared to really take deep dives into what's going on now in the world of professional wrestling. And this week is no different. Despite we have Survivor Series, War Games, and so much going on in the world of professional wrestling, we still make time to discuss with the good brothers. What did you watch? Sponsored by our good friends at SeatGeek.
If you're looking to purchase tickets to concerts, live shows, sporting events, and more, head over to SeatGeek.com where you can use our promo code Wrestling Realm for any one-time purchase of $50 or more. That's promo code Wrestling Realm on any one-time purchase of $50 or more.
Brothers, what did you watch? Who wants to go first? Gentlemen, what did you watch this week?
I mean, I can go first because I didn't really watch too much wrestling. I just watched Looney Tunes, honestly.
Wait, what kind of Looney Tunes? Like modern day Looney Tunes, or
the old school stuff? You know, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck.
Don't feed into it. Please don't feed into it.
You got a Boomerang subscription?
Nah. We just I was just upstairs with my siblings. We was just watching. They had it on I forgot where he hit. Paramount or something like that. I can't remember.
Tubi or Pluto. My favorite.
One of them.
So you was watching Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, man.
So
can't go wrong with
your
Looney
siblings.
Tunes. That's right.
So
Looney
what you really mean is
we took it back.
Watching home videos of you as a child.
He always trying to start stuff.
He was winding that one up. I thought the brother.
Yeah,
I thought
I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna let you have it. You lucky I didn't get footage of you dancing. But that's
hey, you don't have it though.
I'm not gonna hold you, brother Hugh. I got footage of the children. I need their pappy. I need to see footage of the pappy.
I'm gonna get it one day. Watch, I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
But no. Actually,
I saw footage of Brownie's dancing one time. He had a shirt. He had a dress shirt out. That joint went down to his knees, and he was 1-2 stepping like he was out of Baltimore, straight out of Baltimore. Sorry, he's just.
I seen in DC.
Yes, sir. Washington D.C. Yes, sir.
Yep. No, but as I was doing research, I did stumble across an old match between Keith Lee, Jonah, and Walter. And that match was phenomenal. I can't tell you the promotion. I forgot the promotion. But Walter ended up winning that match. But that match was crazy. 3 big guys just going at it, just showing how athletic they were and telling stories in the ring. It was great. It was great.
Was it stateside or was it in the UK?
I believe it was in the UK.
Okay.
But yeah.
I love UK wrestling. It sets such a different vibe to it. I'm not going to dive into that because that's a personal pod. If anybody wants to talk about wrestling, independent wrestling in the United Kingdom, holla at your boy. Who wants to go next? Brother Brandon, what did you watch?
So after Monday Night Raw, I went down a rabbit hole, and it's crazy because I'm not going to say what I watched. I'm going to say what I was paying attention to. So it looks like Triple H is listening to the fans because I think he heard when they say, he doesn't care about black wrestlers and all that stuff. He was getting flagged for everything he said because in one segment, he made me go back and watch New Day, all of the segments that led up to it. I went down trying to find all their backstage stuff just to see. I'm more intrigued about Monday than I am about Saturday, which is crazy. Like, I don't know how and he has this knack to just in a moment make you care about that. And I went down there and I was watching all the backstage segments, and it felt like these are 2 brothers that are trying to get on the same page, but are trying to work it out. Like they don't have another sibling. It's like they're just 2 brothers that just keep arguing. And I'm just waiting for somebody each time to come in and say, well, y'all stop it. Y'all are better than this. And I said, is that going to be Big E? Or is this going to be everybody keeps speculating? And I was watching to see what people are saying. Oh, Big E's going to come back and then somebody's going to turn, or this is going to be the end of the New Day. I'm just interested to see what Triple H is going to do because we've proven when you think you know one thing, he gives us something else. So I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm not going to go there again. You got me uncharacteristic last week, and I'm not going to do it this week.
I still want to know what was that car in the background because I did come across that clip. Remember that flipped over car in the background? Yeah. That one Monday Night Raw? Still ain't figured out that mystery. I feel like it'll come back up. Might have been Darby Allin. It was okay.
Yep. That's right. You caught it. It took a little bit, but you guys saw what I did there.
Yeah, and I did.
Y'all didn't like the full gear? What you mean? That was very WCW-ish. like 2000
Well,
WCW.
the thing is, brother Hugh, what era of WCW? Like, what are we talking?
We're
What
talking
era?
about when it was about to end. Vince
Yeah.
Russo
Well,
and
I
all them
don't.
good guys, you know. It was
I
a
mean,
lot
I don't
going
think.
on, man. I mean, the
It
whole
was
roster came
so
out,
much going on that
like
if
the
I'm a
car
wrestling fan and I'm
crash.
confused,
You had explosions. Barney
it was
on the
people
corner
working
singing,
together, not working
singing
together.
songs.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. No, yeah, that'll put butts in the seats. But
And then everybody's confused, like, why is he here? Okay, they're working together, or they're not. Okay, is this what are we doing here? It was so much happening.
Speaking of AEW, shout out to Bobby Lashley shutting that down from was it Fightful?
Fightful.
I think it was Fightful, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, they try to pull the trigger on the whole black. Like Bobby Lashley's rich. He's not here for any like wrestling wars. He said to get paid and going about his business. He said, listen, we don't got to label
with it.
Bobby Lashley said what Triple H was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
like, Bobby
he said 100 times better.
Is what, and of course, but he's a black man, so of course that's his experience. So of course he knows how to properly articulate that. But that's what I believe Triple H was trying to articulate. But of course, how would he know how to do that? You know, that's not something he just, you know, he said what he meant, but Bobby Lashley kind of like made it clear. Hey, listen, we've normalized that already. Like he's not a black champion, just like back in the early days of the golden era of professional wrestling, they used to call them lady wrestlers, and they're just wrestlers now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't have to identify them as an attraction or a gimmick. They are who they are. And so shout out to Bobby Lashley when he kind of like, listen, we don't have to do that black wrestler thing. Like we're just champions now. Like that's just what it is. Brian H.
Hey, because he said I'm a two-time. He said I'm a two-time, but we're just champions. He said we'd be on that point. I was like, thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. So Brian H. Here we go.
Yes,
I've waited for this whole week. Mr. Deep Dive himself, Survivor Series. Every year, for those that don't know Brian H., like I said, he goes in these deep dives when the big special pay-per-views pop up. The original Big Fours. Do you do anything else outside the original Big Fours of pay-per-views, now known as PLEs, Brian H?
Every now and again,
SummerSlam, Survivor Series,
legacy ones or the monthly ones. So if it depends how, like, I might do. See, what's the September pay-per-view now? Let's just say, for the sake of the conversation, it's Fastlane.
Okay.
I'm not down a Fastlane rabbit hole when it was Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the title. No. But I'll go back and look at.
I was about to say, what's wrong with that?
Wow.
Anything Dean Ambrose was mid.
Bingo.
Once he was in the main event picture, and he wasn't dancing with Seth Rollins.
His match with Seth Rollins for the Hell in a Cell match was fire. Everything after that,
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just so I'll go back and look at like what happened in September throughout the years, or what happened in maybe Money in the Bank. Oh, excuse me. But today
you're allergic to Dean Ambrose. That's why you sneeze.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh man, but yeah, today pulled up. You know, I'm working. No. Me and the kids that just got back from seeing Moana 2. Shout out to my daughter. Wanted to see that. I guess it was good.
Did you take them to see it because it had The Rock in it, or were you really interested in the fact that you wanted to take Ariana to see a movie that she wanted to see? This is just a side note. I have to know.
You know, Dad, he had his T-shirt on. He was in there with his little.
He had to go see the final boss.
All the merch, right?
Nah, actually,
singing a song.
No, I dropped the ball because I should have wore like something rock-esque. No, it was you know, she's such a wonderful child, and she is. You know,
she's amazing, by the way.
So in my mind, Monday, I was like, "Oh wait, Moana 2 come out. I'm gonna surprise her." Then Tuesday, she goes, "Moana 2 comes out. I really want to go see it." I was like, "Oh, can we go to the movies and see it?" I don't know. We'll see. And that's my I don't make no promises. So we got up. I said, look, I got a pod to record at 5 p.m., which turned out to be 4 p.m. I was like, all right, let's look for the early times. Boom, found 11:51. So we went to see that. So I was like, okay, you know, go home, watch wrestling while I get ready for all work. I throw in Survivor Series 93, and I tweeted from the realm and skied it from Blue Sky. That's the correct terminology, by the way. And
is that how you pronounce it? It's Blue Sky?
Yeah, Blue Sky. and
sometimes
threaded.
stuff is not that simple. It's like cooler. It's like no, it's like blue ski, but I don't know.
Right.
Blue sky.
And
We'll go
why they decide to call it skeets, I don't know, but
Hey,
whatever.
that's crazy.
Why did the Yin Yang twins call it? Never mind. Go ahead.
Hey.
So
From the window to the wall.
I throw that on, and then it dawns on me. Mason,
Yeah.
in the
Go ahead.
90s, that it took away post 2000, 99, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Monthly pay-per-views and more television.
Okay.
Here's the reason.
Go ahead. Here we go.
Opening match of the 93 Survivor Series.
Mhm.
It's Razor Ramon, Marty Jannetty, and somebody else on the team. Maybe 1, 2, 3 Kid. And they said, now we got a special guest. It's the one, the only, the Nacho Man, Randy Savage. Big deal.
Mhm.
And I was like, wait a minute. I get to see Macho Man and Razor Ramon and Marty Jannetty and all the team up, and they're going against Shawn Michaels, Diesel, and whomever, right? That's what made that special, because we didn't get multi-man matches every week. And if you remember back in the day on those Monday Night Raws, when they would say a random, like, okay, it's a big deal tonight, things got to get settled. So we got a 6-man tag match. It's Diesel, Bret Hart, and Undertaker going against Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, and Owen Hart. All of a sudden, that feels like a big deal.
True.
Nowadays, we get so much wrestling to preserve time where you have more 6-man tag matches than you usually would, more odd tag teams. And a lot of times there's the whole, like, they got a playlist on Peacock, the odd couple tag teams. Takes you back to the 95 Survivor Series when Gorilla Monsoon, which I loved him as a general manager, did the whole wild card thing. But what made those odd couples was because you could even throw in baby faces and baby faces, because you wouldn't see them come together. And then the teams were creative. So I said, what makes it harder to watch the newer Survivor Series, because of the fact that we've already seen them wrestle in a tag match or a battle royal or some sort. So for me personally, I said, this is what makes this the hardest one, because for a long time, Survivor Series was treated like the stepchild. Like, okay, we're just keep it around because it's tradition. Because
it was like nothing else is going on around Thanksgiving. Why not put on a wrestling show?
And also because it almost feels like the ego wouldn't let it go. Because remember, this was the show they put up against Clash of the Champions. No, Starrcade. And Clash of the Champions.
Yeah.
You know, down the line.
The TV
so
special.
It's like, so it's like we beat them. Now we gotta make it seem like it was a big deal, because we beat their granddaddy of them all with this.
Right.
So just for the simple fact, we have to preserve this traditional pay-per-view. So right now I got Survivor Series 95. That's the yearly go-to. Because it's one of my famous 5 tapes, and the main event is where we see Bret Hart and Diesel, which incredible story, by the way. That's a story that's so underrated, because the first 2 times they wrestled, the matches, neither one of them was clean. One first time Royal King of the Ring 94, Bret loses the Diesel by disqualification to set up Bret and Owen for the summer. Then Royal Rumble 95, both of them are baby faces. Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart interfere to point Earl Hebner to say, forget this double disqualification on both ends.
You're taking me back, Brian H.
Yeah, and then at the end of that year, we finally got the conclusion.
You know what? I think you might have sold me on some classic Survivor Series. This is why we have Brian H. He's our in-house wrestling historian. Is because certain things, like we watch so much goddamn wrestling, and it sometimes it can go in one end and out the other, per se.
Right.
But it's like when you hear stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go back and watch that. I still get the feels when I watch that new gen era, right?
People sleep on it. That new generation era was just as important to our childhood,
of course,
as the Attitude Era, because that was the establishment.
Yeah, that was
that was the era I'm upset that I didn't pay attention to more. Like when we got into the Attitude Era, and see, I'm fresh off of Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler. Bret Hart's my favorite wrestler. Bret Hart is in WCW at this point, not really being Bret Hart, so I got an attitude about that. And Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler, but I'm going off of the old stuff I've seen before, stuff I've seen in playback, stuff I've seen on tapes. And Shawn Michaels shows up every once in a while on WWF with a black vest on, a white T-shirt, a little necklace with a ring around it. This is how much I pay attention. Black jeans, and half short hair. And he was always teasing he was back, and I kept saying, "Oh, Shawn Michaels is coming back." Mind you, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about no back injury. I don't remember Royal Rumble '98. I don't remember WrestleMania 14. Like, I'm seeing all this stuff on the back end, and I'm like, that time Sable needed a tag team partner, mixed tag match, and she said, "Well, I need a tag partner. Do you still got it?" And it was just like a dance off, and I was pissed. I was like, Shawn Michaels is coming back. He's going to team up with Sable, but that new gen era was the era that I went back and like studied. Like, I couldn't get enough of that stuff. I was looking for magazines because I came from like early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and then there was a gap in between before I got back into it. So like that era of that Saturday morning wrestling feel and those pay-per-views, because my cousin was always into it, and it was very special times.
And one thing, I'm gonna give a shout out to Jason and Manny. Y'all may know them, good friends of mine, the Curtain Call kids. Because one of the things they talked about their bond during the New Generation era was like they were fans then. They were the ones wearing the wrestling t-shirts. Now, obviously, they're older than us, but I can imagine like if the four of us was all in, say, middle school together, or more so elementary school together, we would have been the ones rocking the t-shirts, and they said when they started seeing wrestling get a little bit more popular, started seeing more NWO shirts and more Austin 316 shirts. It was kind of like wait, y'all wasn't rocking with it when it wasn't that cool to like wrestling. And quite honest with you, we kind of seeing that movement happen now. I don't know if y'all saw the news this week, but it was talking about the tickets, and they were saying how.
Wait a goddamn minute! I must have missed something. What tickets? What are you talking about?
So basically,
the comp tickets are comp tickets.
The talent have been sent a different direction for comp tickets. Basically, like, oh, here's the pre-sale code, and if you want, tickets to the show, you gotta buy them in advance, and that even the seat fillers, not using as many seat fillers, I don't know anybody who has been a seat filler, but it's one of those things. It's like, oh, if WWE is using seat fillers, oh, that's interesting. But just the business is booming, and a lot of times it's like, but to what expense? Like honestly, this year WrestleMania, I was outside in the cold for a little bit longer. I did get in.
You bring that up a lot, Brian H. You talk about this quite often. This bothers you, I can tell.
Out of 1 through 5.
Buddy. You say who?
WrestleMania 40 out of 1 through 5. WrestleMania 40, greatest WrestleMania of all time, ranked. Out of all my trips, the 5th one ranked.
He's lying. That's his favorite city. He was over there eating big cheese steaks, watching Cody.
Overrated.
Singing the song.
All 742 times it played. Yep.
I keep saying Jesus overrated.
In WWE World, I saw all the kids with the Cody outfits. It was between that and even at Fanatics Fest, and they had updated the music quick because they had the OTC theme on there, with the OTC Titantron. Ooh. But yeah, just again, the business is booming. I brought up Fanatics Fest. I said this right after when I was fresh off of it, which they're doing another one in March. There was just one in the beginning of November in Orlando. It'll be another one in March in LA, or I believe it's LA. And one of the things they said, you saw people dressing up as baseball players. You saw people dressing up as basketball players. But WWE put this stamp on and dominated that weekend. Like, there was nowhere in the world you could.
And there was some heavy hitters there too.
The press, heavy hitters, and they put their Cody Rhodes, they put the Miz, they put Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Bailey. They put all of these people up against those people and won. Even Double H himself, you know, I think he sold out as well. I'm sure he did. You know, his stock kind of went a little bit down. Obviously, we know. You know, but yeah. So like wrestling is booming, but you know, like I said, we see that now that we was here when, you know, back in the mid 2010s and like 15 and 16 when they was trying to shove the big dog down our throats and we kept saying no, we don't want no big dog. But the reason why I'll never say that was a failure is because even though us in the older generation didn't like it, I remember them little kids going crazy with, you know, wanting that daggone glove. So, you know,
Brian is not. Brian is telling the truth because I've seen him get in a mini argument with children at live events. That's why we go to Hollywood. You talking about being exactly a heel. He will start fights with this younger generation. I said, Brian, he won't let. And I didn't stop him. I said, no, he's a wrestling fan. You have every right to be here just as much as they do, and you were here first. So,
as you know, when you go to the show, man, this is my advice to everybody. We got Saturday night's main event coming up. We got the holiday tours coming up. If you get the opportunity and you go to a show, leave the internet at home,
bro. Just leave it there.
Get off of Wrestling News Co. Get off of Fightful. Get off of these websites. Go to theringer.com. We just send you thought-provoking articles, not dirt sheets.
Smooth transition.
Just enjoy the show. When you know when I'm there, I don't try to book the show. I want to be full all in. You know, it was a point like I'm playing, you know, I'm sitting there next to Ben, Cam, and Cal, and I'm booing Cody. And Ben is doing the whoa, and Cal and Cam is sitting there on libations, and they just going back and forth with both of us. It's
a good word, libations.
Yeah, you know, when you see everybody in there going yeet, you know what I mean? With before it was yeet, just people doing this in Detroit was amazing. That visual, you know, it's just
the first time he did it, you was like, oh, he's got something. Did he do it on purpose? He just went out there, was like, everybody started doing it every week.
And then you saw like the camera angles, you know, when WWE once they figure out that one camera angle that just work.
Yep.
You know, it's like they got something, you know. And it's like I said, the business is booming. I'm excited for Survivor Series. You know, I'm excited. We might be getting some new champions. More on that in the preview coming up.
Good Lord.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. We definitely have to get into Survivor Series War Games. Right after this break, we're going to jump right into it. We're going to break down the entire match card, and then we're going to finish up with the most important thing on the card that night, the main event, which also happens to be the next episode of our very favorite soap opera, As the Bloodline Turns. After this quick break, we're about to get into it. In case you haven't noticed, we're just about a little 30 minutes away from Thanksgiving, and I'm getting started early.
Whoa.
Martelli's Sparkling Cider. If you want to sponsor the Wrestling Realm, the realness is here. Let's talk business, because I'm getting this Thanksgiving break started a little bit early. So after this break, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into Survivor Series War Games. Well, I missed my cue for my William Regal break, so I'm just going to jump to the commercial. Here we go.
Watch us and subscribe to our Twitch channel at The Wrestling Realm. For all Wrestling Realm apparel and merchandise, head over to thewrestlingrealm.com.
What he said. So, good brothers, let's get into it. We had to break down this year's Survivor Series. Now, Brian H. gave us a brief history on it and why it seems like for so many years that the concept of Survivor Series struggled. But I think in this new format, we are going to find a way to see if Triple H can bring this back. He's done an excellent job so far, but let's see if we can take things to the next level. So, good brothers, let's get into it. Survivor Series, War Games, and it's in Vancouver, right? Vancouver, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ending my goddamn streak.
Dang it. Sorry, buddy.
You'll be okay.
Now you were doing so well too. So here we are. Survivor Series. This is the entire card. We have another 5-match card. And as you can see, we have a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship between Braun Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. You also have the World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, defending his title against Damian Priest. This should be interesting. I like the dynamic, and I like who Damian Priest has finally found who he really is. And we have a United States Championship matchup between L.A. Knight, and my dog, Shinsuke Nakamura, has returned. He looks different, and I got a feeling that he has a few more stories to tell. And I think LA Knight probably agrees with me. I'm sure he's not going to let that slide. And we have our women's War Games matchup. I'm not even going to sit there and try to break down all the ladies in this match just yet.
War Games of War Games. War Games. War Games.
If we had $1 for every War Games reference we got. And of course, we have the official main event of tonight of that Survivor Series, which is the Bloodline Civil War, which is also a War Games match.
War Games of War Games. War Games. War Games.
Oh gosh.
See, you're going to see that a lot. War Games, combining the concept of War Games, which was kind of reborn in NXT, and Survivor Series. First and foremost, good brothers, how are we liking the match card so far for this year's Survivor Series War Games? As I crack into my Martelli sparkling apple cider. If you want to sponsor the wrestling room, highlight your boy.
It's perfect. It is perfect. It is the perfect card. Let me just
Talk about it.
I don't want to hit nobody's mouth before I get into it, but I don't want to hit anybody's mouth who wants to complain about my tribal chief when he was the world champion not working dates, because I don't see Cody Rhodes anywhere on this card. And that's all I got to say about that. But
that might be a little bit more controversial.
It's not needed.
No, not going there. Nope. Go ahead. Nope, I'm not going there with you.
It's not needed, because I'm gonna tell you why. Because it makes me trust Saturday night's main event, and it makes me raise that eyebrow. Like, could it be the night for Kevin Owens? See, I could believe it now, as opposed to before. Like, if it was taking place here, it's like, okay, he's not losing. But you know, because something's major obviously gonna happen in the Bloodline story. But I don't, you don't give too many major victories at once, per se.
Okay.
So, and when Cody loses that title, it's gonna be a big deal, not to be overshadowed by any. Not to mention, Roman Reigns has said when he did a Sports Illustrated podcast, he said right now he's not booked for Saturday night's main event. As far as he knows, it's the Netflix. So, but when I see
Kevin Owens who said this, or Cody Rhodes?
Who
said this again?
Roman.
Oh, okay, Roman. Don't believe nothing Roman says. Come on now.
Yeah, he said it right now. But when I look at this, man, this is an opportunity. This isn't so cut and dry. This was going to win, and that's what I'm excited about. This is what's going to make me pay attention. Bringing back Shinsuke is going to make me really pay attention to an LA Knight match, because not only am I not, because before it was like, all right, I want to see what Melo and Andrade was going to do in the situation. Sure. This one, I'm going to see, how does LA Knight, because this is his biggest test to date, and I don't think he's going to pass at all.
Oh boy, so you think LA Knight's going down?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what match outside of the main event are you most looking forward to when you talk about this year's Survivor Series?
Gunther and Damian Priest.
Okay, so let's just start there for a moment. What is it about that match in particular that you say, okay, this is going to be the one that might end up not necessarily stealing the show, because I don't think anything's going to tie the Bloodline Civil War, but what is it about Damian Priest and Gunther that has you going, hey, listen, everything else is going to be going on, but this is the one I'm looking forward to the most?
When you see Damian Priest now versus when he was the champion, it felt more like, okay, I'm the champion. I worked hard for it. I earned it, whatever. This dude had to go and be the street dude, and that line, in the ring, you're a general, but whatever he said about you when you're not for the streets, that right there was like, whoa, okay. Now, because now I can believe he can beat Gunther, and I like the fact that Cody weakened something in Gunther. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was, but he did something. So now I'm with that. So when I look at Priest and I look at Gunther, I'm like, it's not so much cut and dry. Now, unfortunately, I'm programmed to think that go down on Raw, you go up on the show.
Right.
So of course I'm like, all right, Gunther's gonna win. But the whole purpose of the activity is to persuade me who's going to win. You know what I mean? Persuade me they can go either way. And that's exactly what they did. And I think we could be seeing a brand new world heavyweight champion.
Interesting take. Man, that's I've never seen Gunther shaken up as far as his confidence. He's been spazzing. He's been off of his game.
Even in those losses.
Yep.
To what was it, Dragunov?
Got caught slipping.
Just caught slipping. Like, all right, you got me. Whatever. I'm going to the next big thing. Not so much now.
The problem is it's happening too often, and as world champion, you're looking like you're not as strong as you think you are.
Right.
So, interesting dynamic. Like I said, I love who Damian Priest is turning into. I think he's finally found out he's back to being himself, and now he knows how to take him being himself and make it to where it needs to be. So I think it should be an interesting matchup. It should be really good. Brother Hugh, you have your finger raised. Now I'm trying to figure out one thing. I don't know who you're referring to. Brian H has one t-shirt on.
You know who I'm referring to.
Well, go ahead and let the world know, who are you saluting to, because you got your ones up, but I don't know which ones that you're pointing to. Brian H has his classic "We the One" shirt, right? He's saying they not the ones.
We together, man.
Well, of course, I'm throwing my ones up for the only tribal chief, the original tribal chief, Tungaloa. But
oh wow, that was a swerve.
This guy really said Tungaloa.
He said Tungaloa.
I had to break. You almost beat you, but you broke me with that. I said, if he say Tungaloa, I'm going to lose it.
Nah, you about to get what you call it, ratio, because I'm tweeting that.
Oh, you should. So he kept doing that last night on Championship Culture.
I was serious. Y'all gonna be mad when he shows up to be the tribal chief.
Oh, okay. Well, listen. If he does that, I will give you $10,000
on the spot.
And trust me, I'm good for it. But what is it about Survivor Series that you're looking forward to the most, Brother Hugh?
I'm looking forward to my guy Ludwig.
Really?
Ludwig. To win that IC title real quick. I think it's his time. He's been showing that he's a proven talent. He's a great in-ring technician. The character is evolving right in front of our eyes. Braun is the type of guy where he can lose it and then he can get it right back again in no time.
He's not going to lose any steam.
Absolutely. And Sheamus, he'll get his IC title. He'll get it. That's a given. He'll get it. But right now, I feel like Ludwig Kaiser is one of the hottest wrestlers out there right now. One of the hottest characters right now. And he should win it. He should win. Did you see that pop he got when he went back home?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was going crazy.
My question is, how often is he going to go back home?
Hey, but that's true. But you also got to think about too is you just mentioned something about Gunther, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
How his confidence is going down. And if you notice the interactions between him and Gunther,
Yeah.
right? Gunther, he's been kind of like downplaying what Ludwig has been doing, right?
Very much so.
He's been very hard on him.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? I'm booking it right now. Gunther loses his title. Ludwig wins.
Oh.
He flipped the script, right?
Mm-hmm.
That builds Ludwig, and it helps add another layer to Gunther. So now he has something that he has to work towards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's what I'm going with it. It might not happen, but that's what I'm going with. 100%. Damian Priest is his character has evolved tremendously. He's found himself, like you said. I believe the title should go to him right now. Gunther, let it wear off because, like you said, he lost something. He lost a step. Whatever it is, he's lacking something right now. Maybe we don't know what it is exactly right now, but he's losing something.
Mm-hmm.
So why not take the title off of him for a little bit? It don't have to be too long. He's still going to be in the picture. But let's elevate my guy Ludwig real quick. Once again, he doesn't even need it for too long.
Okay.
You got hot potato that bad boy between all three of those guys. Sheamus, Braun, and Ludwig.
You probably could. You're absolutely right. And you wouldn't need a whole lot of explanation about it.
Not at all. Not at all. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Excellent take. Brother Guy.
That's it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Brother Guy, how are you feeling about this year's Survivor Series? What are you looking forward to the most? What do you think is gonna what on this card is catching your attention, and where's your mindset as far as what match you were looking forward to the most?
So as Dwayne usually says, I got notes. So my first problem is
because why the heck not?
Okay, so I feel like we've been in this situation before, right? No, this is not one of the B-level pay-per-views, but I feel like this is a pay-per-view that didn't have much build behind it, right? Outside of the bloodline. So they added these matches later than what we normally expected. And I can already tell you the women's match is going to be the one that's going to surprise us. When we don't have that much stock in the match, that's the match that's going to be the most surprising and the most shocking. Bianca is showing NXT Bianca. If you pay attention, she's showing a little grit. I think she's about to evolve her character. And because she even said, well, you're in charge of the team. I mean, you're the leader. What you want to do? And the whole thing with her and Bailey. And we seem to forget, Io still got a title shot. She's the number one contender. And not to mention the briefcase is lingering. And what we're going to do with this tag team belt. So now we got so many variables. So I think that this match is going to be the surprising match of the night. Not necessarily the one that's going to steal the show. That's one. It's going to be a surprising match. Second thing, because they've been telling this story, and I said it last week when I was on Four Sides of the Ring. I said, I don't care about the Intercontinental title match. Just give it to Sheamus. But after looking at it from Triple H's eyes, it's a reason Ludwig went back recently. It's a reason that, they have Shinsuke back in it. He about to start trending in 2025 in some international waters. So what better person?
Oh, boy.
To give him the Intercontinental title, because you can do it to Sheamus or Ludwig. But clearly, if you put Ludwig Kaiser as Intercontinental champion, and let's say send him back for a January show over there in any of those territories, it's going to feel like the most major thing and bring more eyes to the product. Or guess what? He could be one of the headliners for that pay-per-view, a house show, whatever they're going to do. Whatever they're going to do, now you have a couple different things in the works. The next thing is, even if Sheamus gets the same thing, Sheamus can now go to another level and kind of be, because him and Randy Orton are kind of like the same person. They've been there, done that, but we're still cheering. We still want to see them. They still got some gas left in the tank, right? But that's one aspect. But I agree with Brother Hugh 100%. If Ludwig wins, Gunther is going to lose. we have started to see the downward spiral of Gunther, so that way we can see the next evolution of him. Because I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again because we're closer and closer. He's not at the point to carry a show. Right. It's a reason that they're promoting Roman Reigns for Netflix. I strongly believe that they're going to do something where the WWE champion is on Netflix and the world champion stays on USA on SmackDown. I don't know why I'm getting that feeling, but who better to be on SmackDown on USA than Damian Priest with the title? And it can just be for the start of it, and then we can start furthering those lines, because we forgot about one wild card that's out there that still has a problem with this whole dynamic of these two. We still got a Drew McIntyre lurking, and we don't know what his intentions are. So that's why I'm saying he could get it back, because now you can have Drew and Damian, but then you can also have Gunther trying to rebuild himself. You got the Rumble to rebuild him. You got Elimination Chamber to rebuild him. He could take some time off and come back in the Rumble, have a dominant fashion, and that be the other match for Mania. We don't know yet, but I'm just saying there's so many wrinkles in this match. And the last thing, Shinsuke and LA Knight, that's got to be, I think they're going to put the title on Shinsuke, because Shinsuke about to go do that in Pro Wrestling Noah again. So what better way to put some more eyes on your product, having your U.S. champion there to, just the marketability of it, that, you got your champion over there, because he's just announced for it. He's not saying who he's wrestling, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he just said he's going to be a Pro Wrestling.
They never officially announced what match. They just said he was returning. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's why he got
crazy, by the way, to see Shinsuke Nakamura in Pro Wrestling Noah.
Mm-hmm. So that's all. I hate to say it. I feel like LA Knight is going to be sacrificed in this, because it's a bigger plan. But he'll probably get it back, or he'll some fatal four-way with all four of them to be able to get it. When I say all four of them,
Melo Andrade.
Thank you, because that's still. I mean, who doesn't want to see that match again? The triple threat match was cool. It was to the point. I felt like we needed more, but when you add Shinsuke in it, we haven't seen the villainous. We don't know much about this character of Shinsuke, but I think it's going to play out as he go to Pro Wrestling Noah. And then finally, I don't think for the bloodline, I think this is when we start to see how dangerous they are. I think this is when we really get to establish that, all right, Roman, you got your wise man back. It's still not enough. Because...
Does he have his wise man back?
That's what I was going to say. Because here's the thing. Your wise man called somebody that wanted to scrap with the new blood, so the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So they're only on the same side, because remember that promo when Paul Heyman said, "Take me with you." And he called CM Punk his friend. He said, "I was your only friend." And then magically down, Paul Heyman just did an interview, and he said certain things that are going to be probably playing a part in this storyline, that Punk endured a lot of stuff because of Heyman. So Heyman is kind of, what I took from it, Heyman is saying, I'm indebted to Punk, because all that adversity from being a Paul Heyman guy, he shouldered the burden and he carried it. And now he's had to basically, in this storyline, he had to call on him to help his tribal chief. And Paul Heyman is a stupid, hey, I need to get this back going. I need to get this back going good. But can you imagine the WrestleMania match of CM Punk and Roman Reigns for a title? CM Punk going into WrestleMania as the champion, and everybody, and I'm going to throw a monkey wrench. Everybody keeps saying, give us Seth and Punk. I don't think CM Punk even cares at this point, because, let's be honest, this man is probably making more money he has in his career, and he's in prominent roles where he wanted to be anyway. His pop and they were cheering him over Roman on Friday. So do you think this man really care about a Mania match, especially if he keeps getting this trajectory? Because his consolation prize last year was just as good as a WrestleMania match. His whole year was just as good as that Mania match. And I know you want your name. Yeah, exactly. I know you want your name etched in the books, but would you want it attached to Roman, or would you want it attached to Seth? I think that's...
It depends on what type of story they can tell with freaking him and Seth. Right. They did it with him and Drew, all right, and they built that from scratch.
Yeah, they built out of just a reaction from the cage. That's why more and more I think about it, I'm like, if he came back, we're going to get a Drew back in some kind of way. So if he's not inserted in this to get back at CM Punk, he's going to probably be back in the thing to get back to his world title. Because remember, Damian took the title from him. He never really got after Gunther. I think it's so many layers that this pay-per-view is going to be not only to get us to Rumble, this is going to be to get us to Mania. We're on the road to Mania. We don't even know it yet. This is our road to get to Mania.
No, I think you might be on to something, brother guy, because that's definitely the vibes that I'm getting. But
you see how he hyped up his guy? You see how he hyped up his guy, CM Punk?
No, I get, well, he's his favorite wrestler, so of course, he's been getting a lot of new favorite wrestlers. MJF, CM Punk. Goodness gracious!
Hey, I admit it. I admit it. That MJF is my new favorite AEW wrestler. Mm-hmm. I told my CM Punk story last night too, and I'm shocked that you didn't have notes about that. Realness.
There's a reason for that. I have to save it for later.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For later dates.
Okay.
See? Yeah. Yep. That's right. Just like my man William Regal.
War Games! Of War Games! War Games! War Games!
The last one was so spicy. He said it with his whole body. The last one, he felt that in his toes.
On that one.
He shook it away from his toes.
As Stone Cold would say, you got to put some stank on it, kid. So
he shook.
That being said, Survivor Series is shaped up to be one of the best PLEs of the year. As Brother Guy mentioned, as Brian H mentioned, as Brother Hugh mentioned, this is going to lead us into the next chapter of not just these particular storylines and matches, but WWE as a whole, as some monumental history is set to take place really, really, really soon. But the main event of tonight's show is centered around the main event of Survivor Series, which is this Bloodline Civil War. We have spent the last two shows trying to figure out who the fifth man could be on one side, who the fifth man could be on the other side, and we finally got some answers. So are you guys finally ready to have this conversation so we can finally get to the bottom of what this match is going to mean? Where does it go? And what could it potentially lead to? Because I'm ready and our co-host is ready, LA Knight. LA Knight, are you ready for this conversation to kind of take place so we can get to the bottom of this? All right, he's ready.
The lean back.
LA Knight is ready to indulge in our favorite pro wrestling soap opera, known as the Bloodline Turns. Every week on a different episode of As the Bloodline Turns, we discuss a different moment, a different chapter, and what's going on in this Bloodline storyline. And guess what? CM Punk, you guys called it. CM Punk is officially the fifth member for the OG Bloodline to take place in this War Games matchup. So we have to get to the next chapter of As the Bloodline Turns. Has to be, can CM Punk and Roman Reigns coexist? Let's enjoy it, fellas. So you heard the 70s soap opera music. As the Bloodline Turns, here we are. CM Punk is officially the third man. Here we have this image of a returning Paul Heyman. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it looks awfully suspicious to me. Because he's not dressed like he usually dressed. When have we ever seen Paul Heyman dressed like he's on an episode of Miami Vice? I don't remember. But, you know, but thank you, brother. You noticed it too. But social media has told us that, wait a minute, he's dressed exactly like Solo Sikoa. There's a lot of history between Roman Reigns, and last week on the previous show, we talked about potential animosity of Paul Heyman to Roman Reigns or toward Roman Reigns for abandoning him, but not communicating with him, but not being there to protect him from his crazy cousins that pretty much put him through a table. And looking for a fifth member, he went and got a fifth member, someone that I didn't expect. Brother Guy talked about it. Brian H talked about it. I said, well, you know, I was convinced it was Seth freaking Rollins. And now we have one of the biggest enemies of Seth freaking Rollins. So if he hated Roman Reigns before, goodness gracious, we might get a full-blown Seth heel turn. But it's Seth Rollins can't be healed. If he does healer stuff, people will still cheer for him. So good brothers, let's talk.
let's have this conversation. As the bloodline turns, chapter whatever, can CM Punk and Roman Reigns coexist? Now you say, okay, Reynolds, why am I? What's the point of you mentioning this? Why are we having this conversation? Because I want to know. You have two alpha dogs. Let's make no bones about it. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and there's an interesting dynamic between the two because there's a connecting force, which is the wise man, Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns seemed very defensive about Paul Heyman when CM Punk kind of came into the mix, like, yeah, I'm here to help you out. He's like, that's my wise man. Why is that the first thing that Roman said out his mouth? Why is that the first thing he mentioned? He said, that's my wise man. What does that mean, Roman? Why is that you don't say hello? You just say, hey, man, get in line. Thank you. He looked at him and he said, that's my wise man. Like he looked at CM Punk and maybe he saw something in his eyes. And CM Punk looked back at him like, oh, listen. The response he said was, we'll see.
Because remember, and this is, I'm going to throw a wrinkle there for you because I thought about that and I said, everybody was a Paul Heyman guy, right? He was the advocate. He was, it was, if you were a Paul Heyman guy, he was your advocate for, the reigning defendant, the blah, blah, blah. This is the first time that somebody has acknowledged his role to them, not Paul Heyman's role to them. You know what I'm saying? Like Roman is saying, he's my such and such. The other way around is the talent is saying, I'm a Paul Heyman guy. This is the first time that he's letting it be known that he belongs with me because even when Brock Lesnar was trying to beat him up and he saved him, and even when he thought he couldn't come out for the family celebration, he said, come on, your family. I love you. Come on. And it was like, through thick and thin, that's his wise man. That's his road dog. You don't get to have him. He's back for me. He just brought you along for the ride.
This is giving me Brandy and Monica vibes.
Well, the ball is mine. That's the songs we call. No, I'm not going to sing. I was about to. So we got to get to the $1 million question of first of all, there's so many dynamics between this whole situation. And we'll be here for another hour and a half. But Brian is just trying to go to the gym, and I'm trying to be respectful.
Jack Daddy.
So I'm like, okay, how can we get to the bottom of just the immediate situation that we're looking at? Why is CM Punk even agreeing to help Roman Reigns? He made it very clear. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about him. So they're showing a reverence to Paul Heyman in the midst of all of this. And Roman Reigns is very fearful of losing him because of his response. That was my take on it. He looked at him and said, that's my wise man. What are you saying? He knows his history with CM Punk. He knows how CM Punk has felt about him. And now this is CM Punk almost coming to his rescue once again. And if you look at Paul Heyman, he has the same face as Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid 1. When Daniel LaRusso,
oh my God.
when Daniel LaRusso finally won that championship, it's even a meme. Check your phones, go to the images section, and look at the gifts. You'll see Mr. Miyagi kind of shaking his head, smiling. That's the face that Paul Heyman is making right now as he looks at CM Punk and Roman Reigns. That same look of approval that Mr. Miyagi gave Daniel-san. The same look of approval that he gave to Daniel-san. I look at Paul Heyman's face. He's giving that same look. So there's something about this dynamic that I'm like, okay, where does this go? So, Brother Hugh, can CM Punk and Roman Reigns coexist to win War Games?
Oh my gosh. Whew.
That's right. Hot seat first.
All right. So for War Games, I say yes because CM Punk is doing it for Paul Heyman, right?
Correct.
So I feel like he's going to do whatever it takes to make it right for Paul Heyman. Even though Roman is coming across as being jealous, I guess jealous.
Looks a little nervous.
Yeah.
Look a little anxious.
At the end of the day, his cause is to get his family together.
Yes.
I think that's more important than what's going on with CM Punk for him.
Okay.
That's a sidebar. Of course, Paul Heyman is a sidebar, but the major thing for him is getting his family back in line. So at least for War Games, I think that they can coexist and they're going to make things happen. They're going to take the win.
Can I ask you a question, brother? You quick side.
Yeah.
Since you're bringing up sidebars, take another sidebar myself.
Yes,
Is it possible for Roman to get his family back together at this point? If by
trial by fire, you know, legally, respectfully, family lineage. Roman does beat Solo, and Solo has to get in line. Is it even possible that that's even a thing? Wouldn't Solo just be waiting for Roman's downfall again so he could find his place back at the top of the card as he did, even if he were to lose to him at this point?
I would say, me personally, I would say right now it's not possible because you still don't know what the heck The Rock is doing. What's going on with The Rock?
But whose side is he on?
Exactly. So if he does beat Solo and he gets back to being the tribal chief, the original tribal chief or whatnot, The Rock is still lingering around.
Which everybody's afraid of, by the way.
Right.
Nobody wants Roman to get back to where he was based off scars that he left for 4 years.
Absolutely. So as of right now, no, it's not happening.
Okay. All right. Brother Guy. Can CM Punk and Roman Reigns coexist? Two big dogs, two alphas, two guys that consider themselves locker room leaders. Can they coexist long enough to just disrupt and dismantle this new version of the bloodline?
I'm going to say absolutely not, because I think they're going to keep getting each other's way during the match, and that's the story that's going to be told, that I got this, you ain't got this, I got this. Move out the way, and there's going to be a lot of misfire and a lot of mishaps and a lot of one-upsmanship, because once all 5 members of each side are in the ring, that's what we really want to see. And I think it's going to start with the order that they go in, because I think it's going to wind up being CM Punk and Roman last, and CM Punk's going to say, go ahead, you know, my tribal chief, or say something real slick. It's like, no, I go last, you get in there. So I think it's going to start with that dissension, unless they do something crazy where CM Punk starts off first because he wants to get his hands on the bloodline. But once they get in the ring, I think it's going to be a lot of miscommunication, because they've been playing up that this new bloodline is a unit. They're cohesive. They listen to Solo. They take the orders. They work better together. You know, the only team that works better, that's working together, is the Usos right now. Well, I'm sorry, Jimmy and Jay. And then Sammy is just fitting into the mix. But you put a person like CM Punk, who's had nobody, he's been by himself, you know, so I think I don't think they're going to coexist. I think it's going to be a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misfiring during the match. And Paul Heyman is going to be trying to keep both of them on the same side.
Oh boy, that's oof. I'm not even going to dive into that. So,
right.
No, I'm going to wait. Brian H.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that's on the side of Roman Reigns. You got a little bit quiet after WrestleMania. You know, obviously, I felt like you were wandering. You didn't know where you were headed, but now you seem like you got.
He was lost.
He was like a drifter, like Elias. He would just show up like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian H. Waters. Who wants to walk with Brian? And you know, he was trying to figure it out. Like he didn't know what the next move was, but you know, as you can see, he's got himself back situated. His level of confidence in the bloodline. He's thrown his ones back up again. But to me, there's got to be some type of distraction in the midst of all of this. And it could be just something that they're doing. So I'm, as a wrestling fan, naturally imply it when that may not be the implications at all. I could be making that up in my head, because they're playing off my experience as a wrestling fan, trying to take what I've seen before and project what's happening now, when that may not be the case at all. So, Brian H., is it possible? Can Roman Reigns and CM Punk, two alpha dogs, two guys that want the top spot, and they're looking to get the top spot, can they coexist long enough to win War Games?
Nope.
Oh my goodness! Just straight to it, huh? No, there's why is that? Because I was not. I'm not gonna go ahead. Go ahead and say it. I'm gonna wait.
Well, they're not on the same page, and Roman still has this trust issue, right? Like he doesn't
this ego, right?
Yeah, he didn't like the fact that Jey Uso, you know, wouldn't tag him in, and that's why Jay tagged Jimmy. So if he's feeling that way about his brother, his own bloodline, you know, imagine he's doing with a Collins outsider and CM Punk. You know, better if you got Sami Zayn right there, but then you got CM Punk, and we know it's still issues. Like the wise man didn't answer the phone; the phone was disconnected. But all of a sudden, He can reach CM Punk, so maybe Sami Zayn.
He said that in the interview, didn't he? He said it. The wise man has been acting kind of shady.
Yep.
So he definitely said that.
So maybe Sami Zayn and CM Punk and Paul Heyman are working together. Who knows? You know, Sammy tossed that phone, you know, and he could have switched it. Who knows? He could have switched the names or something. But then again, maybe you know, we just don't know. And I think that, like Brother Brandon said earlier, New Bloodline is dangerous. They're not going against a put together team now, like they was a few years ago, and you put together Kevin Owens and them. They're going against a shown off family member, another section of the island of relevancy. So the dangerous section, might I add. Remember, they said it's a reason. Anytime Roman said, "Well, we just all going to die together," come on now, Tribal Chief don't talk like that. But they know what they're going up against, and I think
you know what their father is.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to mess with Uncle Haku.
Exactly.
Not at all.
And I think when it all comes down to it, Jacob gonna fly off that cage.
Oh, jeez.
And Roman and Punk gonna be arguing, and Jacob gonna pin Sammy's shoulders to the mat. 1, 2, 3. I think this is the Jacob Fatu coming out party. We always see different ones. Yeah. For as far as the American audience, right?
Sure.
So we always see different ones. So I think it's Bloodline storyline, right? We saw the Jey Uso story, the Jey Uso section, the chapter at Money in the Bank when Jey pinned Roman. First time Roman's shoulders had been pinned to the mat. You know what I mean?
Right.
We saw the whole thing where Jimmy was trying to figure out his way, and then you know him getting his own music. We saw Tama Tonga come in. We saw Tonga Loa come in. We saw Tama Tonga and Jacob win the tag titles. You know what I mean? We see Solo have his moment. But I think now, you know, Solo had quite a few moments actually. But I think now this is the part where Solo proves to everybody and says, this is why this is my right-hand man. My right-hand man is more dangerous than your right-hand man ever was.
Oof. See, those are fighting words. That's exactly why they have this match and it's in a freaking cage with weapons and all the other stuff that goes on.
Because I just thought something. My bad. I'm sorry. Go finish. Oh no, my bad.
Go ahead,
I was about to say real quick. I remember Brandon saying something about this, but we still have to remember that Seth Rollins is lurking. Right?
And I'm sure he's going to be pissed, Brother Hugh.
Right. Number one, we know that he doesn't mess with Punk. He doesn't mess with Roman. And you also have Bronson Reed on that other side that he's still beefing with. So who's to say that he doesn't get involved in this match? Trying to, and putting the ears up, the bunny ears, trying to get his revenge on Bronson Reed. And it could backfire because now him, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns is in the ring all at the same time.
Right.
Right? You get that nice stare down. That might be able to lead into something else.
True.
That's a whole nother wrinkle to the story. Not to mention, you can go add another wrinkle, a new bloodline member. Who knows?
We're not going to say pretend like they didn't just sign two relatives, two more.
Absolutely.
And then they haven't. I feel like they have like guys in reserve. They're like, "Oh, this is my cousin so and so. He just started wrestling last month. He gonna start hitting the road." I'm like, "Yo, where do y'all keep coming from?"
They showing up. They keep popping up for sure.
But that's the effect of the tribal chief because he has shown his family the way. And now they're like, "Yo, that's." I know it's a grind to get to this point because we talk about Jacob Fatu and what he came from. Now this dude is ready. Like he's probably been ready. Like Mark Henry said it. He said that man been ready, but he had some stuff he had to get situated. And I'm like, okay, I respect that, OG. It is what it is. Now, Brother Brandon had mentioned something the other day, and he said, "As a picture is worth 1,000 words."
Down on bended knee.
Here we have CM Punk facing off with Roman Reigns as he's trying to get himself together as usual, stressed out. His hair's all over the place. You see the Brandon? His hair's frizzled. I told you, anytime his hair's frizzled and frazzled.
Y'all people like making fun of people with good hair. You know,
Listen to me.
What you mean, y'all people?
Oh,
I'm not.
y'all, you know, y'all those with short haircuts. Y'all want to talk about when people's hair get all frizzly, man.
All I'm saying is, Brian H., it's just really obvious when you guys are stressed out. Like, I can tell when you're going through something like, oh, look at his hair. It's all over the place. He's got a lot going
then
on
you
right
start
now.
doing this. Look, all that stuff happening.
He's got a lot going on right now. And lately, Roman has always had a lot going on at the moment that I have seen him personally. But, Brother Brandon, you talked about this image. You said this picture's worth 1,000 words. Is that the fact that they both have Jordans on? Everybody in WWE loves wearing Jordans now.
Yeah, nobody wears wrestling boots anymore. Everybody wears Jordans.
No, Kurt Angle still wears wrestling boots, but
let me ask you, what's the ones the Roman are they comfortable? Because I mean, here, you know, I think he had I don't know about the numbers. It wasn't the ones, but I know everybody say ones ain't comfortable to wrestle in. That's the I've been hearing from the wrestlers.
Yeah,
and I like cool ones.
The ones are really. I was surprised Nikki Bella used to wrestle in those a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
It's an old cut shoe with not a lot of technology.
It feels like this.
Right.
It's just a flat. It's just,
right.
So it's like
it's just literally the soul.
You know, as
like, mine are comfortable, but the 12s feel like
I was about to say the 11, 12s, and 13s. They are heavy, but they're probably the most comfortable for like moving around.
I said feel like heavy.
Oh, you said feel like heavy, but they're still okay. All right, but still.
I don't know. There's always the 5s. We would have to ask Brother Corey about that. But you know, because Kofi has been wearing Jordans before it was like a thing.
Before it was a thing,
kind of flat, though.
You said what?
The 5s are kind of flat. They remind me of like a skateboard shoe with the fat tongue.
They see that's why they're comfortable. They definitely got freaking what's the shoe that was big like that? It wasn't DC's, but it was Etsy's. I mean, not Etnies. Eddie's. Yeah, Etnies. There it is. Yeah, but you know that's
1 through 4 is the most uncomfortable.
He said, yeah.
We
pretty much 3s are not uncomfortable though. 3s are pretty, but you know that's not wrestling though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in wrestling.
Yeah, because I think he had 5s on, didn't he? Don't Roman wear 5s?
I
thought he wore 5s.
Roman has Jordan. He has different shoes on all the time. When he comes on there, he's got a different pair. I didn't see. No, he had the 3s on. The 3s that just came out. The Cement 3s just came out. The re-release from 1988.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Black Cement 3s came out. But if you notice, they're like walk around shoes. Everybody's trying to be cute. Like that's not something they're putting on a wrestle. Kofi wrestles in straight Jordans. Like you like Kofi, your feet don't hurt. And Usos be wearing like mid Air Forces and Air Forces are heavy. I mean, they're probably heavy in wrestling.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, the Judgment Day, another one. The girls wrestle in Jordan 1s a lot. But
yeah, remember when Ricochet did it for that time that he put his wrestling boots back on? He was like, "Yeah, I can't do this."
Ricochet, he had bell bottoms on the other day at AEW or wherever the heck he was at. I was disappointed again. But yeah,
because he had on shorts one time and then he went back to the pants again.
And you know, Tony lets him do that. He want to do.
Oh my gosh,
but he won't bring back Ricky Stark.
Ricky Stark showed up at GCW like Lex Luger with a shopping bag, and then like
in the mall.
Quick break. He showed up to the Mall of America like he walked that escalator like he was Lex Luger in freaking 1994, 95, whatever night show debuted. They were in the Mall of America, so you knew it was going to be some type of gimmick or something.
Right.
Ricky Starks walks down there, but Seth, I think they know that GCW is like a hop skipping away from being a WWE territory.
It is now.
So, you know, all of a sudden, you know, AEW blocked all his appearances to be at all those shows he had set up for GCW. I think he's trying to get fired on purpose, but you know,
clowns.
Maybe he just want to work. They're not using it.
I was just finishing his interview with Van Vliet. He said
that's true.
You know, he won't suspect. He said he got his speculations. He won't say why, but you know, he just want to wrestle.
Right.
Yeah, because he likes everybody, and like when you have 400 people getting off a plane, everybody's got to have a turn.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that's just me. So we go into Survivor Series, and we're going to wrap.
Before you go, can you go back to that other picture? Because I didn't know if anybody paid attention that the camera kept going to that, and Roman stayed there for a minute, and just was. And the way that Triple H has been doing cinema, why did we just get this return video a year later for CM Punk? He sat on that footage for a whole year on purpose. And as you know, we get all these video packages, things like that. That's why I feel like that will be a match at Mania, because it's like, oh, why is Roman bending the knee? He doesn't kneel to anybody, even though he was getting up. And then CM Punk's looking like, I'm doing what you can't do. Similar to what Solo was looking at. I remember when Solo was like, put him down. He was like, I know, I'm trying. So here we go. The tribal chief has been shaken yet again. Can Roman actually do it? Can he defeat the man that came back to save him? That's why I said that picture's
don't ever say my tribal chief is kneeling to another man.
Oh my goodness!
Don't point that out.
No,
we don't. We no.
He is.
He be getting bent.
There's something we can agree on though. His hair's frizzled, so that means he's got to be stressed out. Look at it. Look at it. He's disheveled again. That bun came out. The man bun came out. That man bun didn't come out, Brian H, for 4 years. You kidding me? Only time he took that hair out when it was time for action. Like he can't even keep his hair straight anymore, Brian H. That's stress. That is stress. I know stress when I see it. That he's under a lot of stress. He's so desperate that he's got CM Punk. So the Good Brothers have decided
with family.
Mm-hmm.
I was to say it's different when we fight with family. Like he said, He said, look, it's one thing that's for certain. None of us like that Cody Rhodes is the man. Right. None of us like that Cody Rhodes is in the position. They all trying to get back.
Is he the man though?
Well, he's the one with the gold. He's the one with the big locker room. Did you notice that one locker room that said locker room number 2 when they had Roman and they had Roman's Reigns and name and it said number 2, or number 2 super. It was something very like subtle. Like
it was like a smaller. It was like you knew it was the smaller room. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think it said it had the room number like 201 or something next to it.
Yeah,
like it said something else crazy next to it.
We know that we got to pay attention to every single frame on television.
I can't. I'm tired.
Right.
Too much.
And that's the thing. It was something like oh, real quick, I want to drop back because you guys was talking and when you talked about Kaiser, right?
Yes.
And we talk, we production guys here. You notice the thing for the longest time, it always seemed that Gunther and Kaiser were like this, but recently they've been looking like, wait, Kaiser's they're the same height. Like I saw him leave. We was leaving SummerSlam. And this dude was outside randomly walking back towards the stadium, and we just doubled. Why is he out here? Did he leave Tiffany or something? And it made you you saw him. He's winning that life. But you saw him
just like the Miz. Yes, indeed he is.
and you're like,
and he got his own music. He got a variation. You notice he got a variation of Imperial music.
Oh yeah, I remember that when they first did it, and he looks, he looked like a regular person, but then in an instant, he looks good in a suit. He looks like championship material. But the main thing is they showed us, and it could be a preview to the way Brother Hugh broke it down earlier, and it's just about that camera manipulation. Now they're looking like that same level. He could be the guy who could win the title and cause a weakness in Gunther. And so when you see that and you see way they've been presenting with this bloodline story, like I said, the cell phone, the second locker room, they don't like the position. Roman has been very adamant about that. And you see Paul Heyman, there's so many a picture's worth 1,000 words. When I saw that, from a non-kayfabe point, he's smelling millions of dollars right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
That to me, but man. This is just like I said, you can't have Roman on his knees to CM Punk. You can't have him acknowledging.
Well, what was he doing, Brian? Was he tying his shoe or what? What the heck?
He had just got hit in the Superman punch, man. You can't just Punk gotta go to sleep. His knees, he don't have to go down. It was a spear. Well, it was the perfect timing though.
But why he hit him with the Superman punch? Did he want that to kneel?
He still would have. Yeah, you're right. But
he got to use his lesser. His move is the Superman punch. He didn't even ooh-ah before the spear. He losing it.
Well, he won the title
didn't charge
from Brock Lesnar with a spear. That's why
he didn't ooh-ah. He didn't ooh-ah. He didn't even charge up.
He couldn't. He got attacked from behind. So he like pushed him against the ropes, and then he ran, ducked the strike, and speared him. He didn't have time to do it the whole.
He had time to charge up
to it. Yeah, nah.
But the realness had to go
like
make sure he screenshotted this from this point.
Yeah,
I know
it
wasn't high quality.
It
photo.
wasn't.
That wasn't.
It wasn't my idea.
Again.
It wasn't his idea.
It wasn't my idea. Like I said, now I'm not going to tell you who it was. It's because the guy might feel some type of way.
I was about to say, I'll snitch hard.
I knew it was the guy.
Y'all, he said the guy would feel some kind of way. Why
Yeah, I'm not going to say who it was.
We're just mad because the tribal chief has drew so much money and made sure we've been eating good off of the story. We've been eating since 2020.
But what they been
And
eating?
guess what? He said we got 2 or 3 more years because there's still more directions.
Can you speak on that real quick, Brian? It's just because you mentioned you talk about the longevity of Roman Reigns. You're a tribal chief, and because look at you, your confidence is back because you're quiet for about a month and a half. You know, when he was
stressed. He didn't watch the videos. And think about it, he got his hair done a couple times. He watched the videos. He like, we back, baby. We eating steak again. Look at us. We eating steak.
Yeah,
we eating steak. No more chicken boxes for me. I'm eating steak. At the gym now. I gotta look like my tribal chief. Now he back.
First of all, we was still eating. We was eating a different type of steak. We eating ribeye now. We was eating T-bone steak with Solo.
They was eating cheesesteaks.
Yeah, well, Murray Steakhouse went out of business a long time ago.
Hey man, no, that's a soft spot because Murray's decided to go out of business once I like moved out, had my own, grocery.
You was ready, like, oh, y'all good. We got Murray's.
I needed those chicken tenders. I needed the chicken tenders.
Chicken strips, right?
Yes, that's what I needed for Murray's.
And then you go in the regular store, it's double the price because they got to get their profit, and it's in Murray's their cut. So,
man, French toast.
We all triggered by that.
I just want the chicken. Clearly a sensitive subject. Bring up Murray's Steakhouse.
Steak fries from there too. Oh my god, yeah. Nobody's steak fries cook better in that grease than Murray's steak fries.
Right?
Can we have a moment of silence for Murray's?
I think we should. We should do a 10-bell salute to it, but we got to wrap this up because
I appreciate it.
As exciting as the whole situation is going to be. I got one last question for you, brothers, and we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here.
The wings, prototype, no.
See, look, it's just certain things you just can't let go. Look, did you see? Look, yeah,
he's not going off.
Justin, he's well into. He look. So he's well aware of the impact that Murray's Steakhouse has had on all of us. So with that being said, how exactly does this really end? Does this have a winner? Does this have a loser? We know that it's not going to end here. Now, traditionally, this is supposed to be the last resort of what happens when one faction and another faction just can't coexist, right? Is there a situation where maybe one bloodline is moved from one show to the other? Like, okay, you know what? Y'all got to stay here. This group got to stay here. And there's 2 bloodlines. There's a bloodline on Raw and there's a bloodline on SmackDown. And they both, it reminds me of the Temptations in the 60s. If you've ever seen the Temptations movie, there's a section in the movie where they talk about it was 2 sets of Temptations that were touring. And they both were Temptations where one Temptations had 2 of the original lead singers, and the other Temptations had 2 of the other lead singers, Eddie Kendricks, and I think who was it? It was his name is has slipped my mind, and that's a shame because I love the Temptations. But
David Ruffin?
Not David Ruffin.
No, the light skinned guy.
Dennis,
the lead singer.
Dennis.
He was the lead.
Dennis's last name.
One lead singer went the one way, and the other one went the other way, right?
I know who you're talking about.
Dennis, I forget Dennis's last name, and I should be ashamed. If anybody knows what Dennis is from Temptations, the lead singer that came in after David Ruffin left, please put it in the chat because
he was the one that didn't want to sing the song about his father died, right?
Yeah.
That's why. Oh man, what is that man's name? Okay, God dang it!
It'll come. It's not Dennis Edwards, is it?
Dennis Edwards, yes.
Dennis Edwards.
Yes.
I should have believed in myself. Like Brian believes in Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. I should. Dennis Edwards. So like Dennis Edwards and Eddie Kendricks was on one side, and then you had like you had who was the new guys in
Otis and David Ruffin. Otis
yeah, and,
was on the other side.
No, David Ruffin definitely wasn't with Otis. So, but
Yeah,
eventually David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks went off and did their own thing after a while. But but anyway, there was two sets of Temptations that were torn, and they both had claim to the names and the songs because the for years they were split over, splitting leads, and the Temptations can show up anywhere. So it's is it too crazy? That thank you, Cian, so she had our back.
She was ready.
Of course,
she's reloaded.
Look, so
look, she was reloaded. She was ready.
See, if you guys want to see an R&B playlist, brother Roger, Uncle Roger has a playlist that will keep you in your feelings for a long period of time. Anyways,
don't play it past 9.
Listen, you're in trouble.
You drove up. You be outside with the boombox in the rain.
9:30, you in a bad space.
Yep.
So, is it a possibility that you can get a bloodline on Raw, a bloodline on SmackDown, or does this continue to go? Because I'm assuming CM Punk is going to end up doing his own thing. Bronson Reed is going to go and do his own thing, and you're still going to be left at square one. The original 4 versus the new 4, and it's only the beginning of this particular chapter of this particular story, and our favorite soap opera as the bloodline turns. How does this end, for goodness sake? How does this end at Survivor Series at least?
As long as we don't get a new Nexus type of deal where CM Punk is the leader of anything.
No, I don't.
That's all. I just hope that we don't ever get anything like that ever again.
I don't think they can pull that one off.
No,
I think it ends with Hikuleo because Roman thinking that I got this. Paul Heyman is back. Everything's good. It's going to be another layer like, I'm smarter than you, Roman. That's the difference. I'm more dangerous than you, Roman. You're never going to defeat me because he always going to have something up his sleeve because there's Hikuleo lurking. And remember, Lance is doing, when I thought about it after I made that comment about Lance being a blank canvas, Lance is doing exactly what Solo did. Remember, Solo was in all those pictures in the first of the NXT class, and look how long that lasted. And who's to say Triple H, because we don't trust Triple H, he could have made him do all that just on purpose. He could show up on Saturday and be part of Solo. But
yeah, like I said, especially in today's WWE where they have no problem telling people their history versus like during the Vince era, it didn't exist. The only thing that matters is what you did in WWE versus now they're like,
hey,
oh Lord,
what belt was that?
Down goes Frazier. And so it's one of those situations where you have to recognize that
I hate you.
Lance could be on the same trajectory as a Solo when he first came in. It's possible. Like I said, we don't trust Triple H, but I need to know how this match actually ends. Like where does this go? How does this? Never mind. I changed my mind. Brian,
it's simple.
What do you think?
So I told you how I finished. I booked, right?
Go ahead.
Jacob off the cage. All right, maybe he'll go all the way to the cage.
You selling Jacob off the cage though? You selling tickets out here now?
Hey man, Rikishi jumped off the cage. His uncle did it. He got to do it. You know, aesthetically, it looks the best.
Because Rikishi definitely went off. Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. But I think Jacob does get the pin while Roman and Punk are arguing. Same thing.
Yeah, I just want to keep throwing Sammy Uso under the bus, but go ahead.
He it's all his fault. He ruined everything. We was good. Here he come. He infiltrated it, and now he want to come back. But this is definitely kicks us off for WrestleMania season. So this once this happens, then I think we do get some sort of Netflix special where
there's that wrinkle.
Roman and Punk. That's where I think that happens.
He's still trying to sell Roman and Punk, and we haven't gotten Punk and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is going to be mad that they chose CM Punk to be a part of this goddamn situation. He's going to be mad at Bronson Reed, and you guys are still thinking it's going to be Roman Punk. Listen, you guys are right last week, so.
No, I don't think, but that's the thing. I don't think that's WrestleMania. They better not. I swear, they better not. All you marks out there that cost me my match that I wanted to see for over 10 years, better not do it again this year. I want.
Well, dang.
Rock and Roman in Vegas.
Too bad you're gonna get Rock Cody.
I don't think they make it to Mania. Rock and Cody.
If that gives me Rock over, but
they're gonna make it there for the People's Championship.
Yeah,
that'll be their title that they're fighting for.
But like The Rock is going to be hard to realistically win a situation like Rock and Cody because it's like, well, we know you're not going to be the champion. You have a movie like they'll announce The Rock has a movie the Tuesday after he goes show The Rock starts filming next week. You're like, bro, we didn't know that. Now we know he's getting written off TV somehow.
Right.
He can give it up. We don't need no more Rock movies. You know, Red One flop.
He's doing Moana right now, right?
It's done.
Filming Moana? It's done already.
It's done.
Yeah, it's on today. It's over.
No,
it's live action. The live action.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's filming that one. And remember, his contract says he can't do both because remember he got hurt the last time.
We've seen it
so
towards
now
that and they cost him a lot of money.
It cost that studio a butt ton of money. So they're like, no, you gotta do one at a time.
Well, like I said, let's get Rock and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get like you said, everything is going to be right there for the taking. Punk and Seth Rollins. You know what I mean for WrestleMania. You when you see why he's upset, and somebody's owed a favor. Somebody's coming back for Sami Zayn.
Who
I
Who
would
you talking
love
about?
him to be WWE champion by then.
Who you talking about?
Who's this?
Why is Kevin Owens mad at Cody?
The plot thickens. He wants to be the guy.
That's not an original thought, but that's yeah. Why is Kevin Owens mad at Cody?
He wants to be the guy.
No, come on now.
Because he teamed with him. Remember? Because
and who else was teaming with him?
Sammy now. Because
exactly.
They made my life a living. You know what? What do you say? 2 years straight, and you just go team with him. That's why he took out. When he was saying it's Randy's fault because Randy sided with you, Cody. And I'm trying to tell you,
he's I love
this man with a golf.
I hate you though.
Who's not down for another Sami Zayn Kevin Owens WrestleMania match?
I'm not.
What?
I'm not.
Sami Zayn is like that's like Tommy Dreamer and Raven. Like Tommy Dreamer,
I don't know who
won
those
one
guys
time
are.
that 20-year. You said what?
They're still fighting right now.
They won. He
fighting.
won one match against Raven in like 6 years.
30 years. They're still fighting. They have never stopped fighting.
These guys
so
wrestled at a forgettable WrestleMania. We remember WrestleMania 37 for one reason.
Yep.
No, you know what? Two reasons. We had an all-black women's main event night one, and we opened up night two with a black man successfully defending the title. And I'm a Roman Reigns fan, but I don't go back and watch Stack them and pin them and all that stuff.
No, because
they changed the music. Now I can't listen to that big dog mess, so I don't watch nothing before that. How you are about gear is how I am about music. And quite frankly, let's be real. It was very, Skip Hillis said it just didn't hit. We knew Roman was gonna win.
Yeah.
So none of that. But we also had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on the card. But it's one of those things like, oh yeah, because Sammy wasn't. I don't want to say not a household name, but maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Sure.
He wasn't main event. He wasn't like
you wouldn't say it, main event Sammy Uso.
Yeah, like he didn't become a household like
I
a
see what you did there.
crossover star.
That was
Yeah.
smooth. Make it.
Like the next year with Johnny Knoxville, that set him up. So now you got that in his catalog. But like now, this Sami Zayn, that Kevin Owens, you go back to the backstory, WrestleMania 39, we beat the bloodline, and now you're going to team with these fools.
Darn well they're not gonna go way back. They got access to all that footage. They're friends with all the promotions.
Yeah,
they're gonna go back to the Powerbomb on a ring apron to NXT.
But see, but remember they did that. Like, obviously they're going to, and you can, but they did that already. And it's like, just when we forgot all this, just when I forgave you for all this, because Kevin Owens was gonna say he was right, and he's like, just when I forgave you, then you come out here and do this. So
you got a point though, Brian. Remember when he stopped Cody when they first popped him? He was like, Cody, listen about what happened. If you want to talk, I know. He's like, nope. I just want to go out there and talk to the fans. He's like, look, man, if anybody knows Cody, it's me. So
because also shout out to Kevin Owens. A
Who's
lesser,
the man, by the way?
The without a doubt, a lesser talent would have easily gotten lost in the shuffle with all of this.
Heck yeah, you kidding me?
And I don't rock the Triple H's doing this hat too much, but I'll say the one thing that this locker room, you hear the good vibes, but you also see a locker room that's just working together. I talked to Chelsea Green, and she talked about how all the ladies, how much fun everybody is. It's just such a conglomerate. That's been good. It was great when you have so-called competition, because we all know this ain't competition. We have an alternative, not competition. We watch competition, huh?
There's competition.
An alternative.
Yeah,
because we grew up with competition.
Yeah, we grew up. You know what competition looks like.
Yeah. So when you see, because there's always this thing no, we're going to keep the alternative from even thinking that they can even play on our level, and now everybody's working together and not against each other. It's like, okay, how can we put on the best product for the fans? And that's what happens. You give people days off and you give them work day. They got work day, for those who do not know.
Right away.
That you use to insert your days off. As I watch this Survivor Series, I keep remembering that the realness ruined my thought, because I really thought that was Bill Clinton. And now as I look deeper, it is an impersonator who was very well with Sonny sitting on his lap.
You're welcome. In all fairness, Brian H., he really did look like Bill Clinton.
Bro, I'm looking he looked
he did
like him.
He really did. The only thing that gave him away was his accent. He was trying too hard. You could tell somebody's doing a person, but he looked smack like Bill Clinton.
But when you're, what was this? I was 8, I was 9 when this was out. So I thought it was oh yeah, it's Bill Clinton. I ain't watch everything that Bill Clinton, but I knew he was the president. But yes, but yeah, with everybody doing this and everybody working together, they just keep printing money. They keep printing the word. And that's what, and even down to NXT, I referenced your shirt earlier with HBK. HBK he couldn't help himself. He done went all this time. This whole time. I don't trust you either, Sami Zayn. I've been saying that. But HBK been going all this time without doing anything, getting involved. And now, somebody knocked over Ava.
Yeah.
He lost it.
Yeah. I mean, even down
because that's his general manager. He picked her. Remember, that's his general. That's his general manager.
Yeah, after he treated The Rock bad for so many years, he made up for it. He gave her a job. What was his name in Young Rock?
Flex Cavada.
No, it was
it was something else.
Chill Frost or something crazy like that.
Chad Frost.
Chad Frost.
Right?
There you go.
So
But and I got a question, and Brian H. Waters, I'm gonna need you to ask Triple H this next time you see him. How much money does he think people have? Because they are just first off, 2024 brought more belts this year than I think we've ever had in any year. But more T-shirts.
There's been one for every single PLE.
It really has, though.
So not only that, you released a belt 10 years too late. Well, no, probably more like 12. When did the pipe bomb happen, Brian? What year was that?
2011.
So you see what I mean? 13 years too late, you released a belt that sold out. You are just Triple H, stop it. We're out of money now, okay? We don't have money.
You know why?
I think that made sense.
I'm gonna tell you why. I went to a community event in Cleveland, worst stadium ever. But
wow, you still saying that?
No, actually, Tampa. Tampa's the worst.
Oh, it's getting worse. Okay. Oh,
but when you saw people paying hundreds of dollars to give away food with wrestlers,
true,
to pack food give it away for the homeless, and then be able to sit down and eat lunch with the wrestlers. And when I say hundreds, I'm talking $600 or $700+ for this experience. And mind you, it's probably 100 people in there.
Right.
The fact is, they know somebody gonna pay for it.
Somebody, because listen. They were selling. Did y'all even know they were selling Larry the dog? They were selling stuffed animals. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
I found out because Cody Rhodes got jealous and said something about it.
If you go to the superstores, there's a lot of stuff that you don't even see on TV or on WWE Shop.
Like if Jay come out with another pair this Sunday, he gonna have a different color glasses. Watch, he's gonna have another shade, different color. This
like
is
Ronnie said, printing money.
Yeah, it is.
We all joke Cena about changing his shirt, but now we see all these different color shirts now. We joke Cena for years. What do you say? Go eat a bowl of Fruity Pebbles.
He was ahead of the game. Because now Jay Uso's the Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, because Jay Uso be all over the place.
Yeah. I want that black
blue,
gold.
Looking like Dolph Ziggler.
Oh yeah, he definitely had that.
Definitely
he challenged his Dolph Ziggler.
Man,
Dolph
I hope
Ziggler
somebody
had a different name.
But we're not going to address one thing. Can you realness? I know we overtime. Can you go back to just the bloodline? Can you go back to just the bloodline picture? Because I want you to answer a question about this. The one with the main event with the bloodline. Yeah. Why that man making that face? Everybody else making a serious face. Look at his future tribal chief, according to him. Why that man making that face?
Wow.
I was like, why is that? Ain't nobody else making a face.
That's really huge tribal chief.
Yeah,
he look a little off, as they old folks would say.
Yeah, because he doesn't know who he is. He is
everybody make a mean face, and he came up with that.
Yeah, that was his face. That's his Micah face.
Y'all gonna feel funny. Y'all gonna feel funny. Look, hey, he sent Solo.
He sent Solo.
He said,
"Yo, stop it."
He sent Solo.
Rock's mom sent Solo, man.
Look, I don't trust nobody that can't hold the belt up the right way. He didn't send no goddamn body.
Yo,
they don't let him do anything.
He's playing, y'all. He's playing, y'all. He's playing, y'all. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be this goofy wrestler over there. Nah. At the end of the day,
you can relate, right?
He's a dumb, but that's
playing the role of the bumbling fool, but.
Absolutely.
No,
I'll tell you because he has a identity crisis. He doesn't know who he is. He had more name changes than any other wrestler. He has an identity crisis. He don't know what character he's playing. He's
printing money now. He's like,
absolutely.
Man, even if he getting the least amount, he's still making good.
He definitely is.
And he got new action.
And he won a title without having to be in the match. Because the eye patch made him look pretty. He looked like a bad, you know what, with the eye patch.
Like his daddy.
He did.
And then it was like and it was like nobody's
that contract.
I would have kept the eye patch on.
Shoot, what if his daddy came back? Oh my God!
Don't say that.
No. On Netflix, he had to come back on Netflix. USA can't.
He's been making appearances. Don't get it twisted. Hey man,
oh my!
I'm with it.
Barbarian. What's the Barbarian's?
As long as Rikishi don't.
No, see, that's the thing. The most dangerous.
Yeah,
that dude is more dangerous than anybody walking the face of this earth.
Yeah, I think they're still making like the faces of fear, but you know, Ming and Haku, you know, they're still out there. They're not in bad shape. Let's just say that. Like they've gone out there with some tights and t-shirts and still made it happen. I was like, well, that's kind of scary. I remember when Ming first came. Ming got a big push in WCW once the faces of fear kind of split.
He looked scary, bro.
He did.
Yeah, Ming was the guy when he had the Tongan death grip, bro. Like that was a real thing.
Yo, one time in school, Brother Hugh did that to the teacher.
Oh no!
She said something to him. He was like,
Tongan.
Meanwhile, the way we was over here force stroking people, we was a force stroke.
I
did it from a distance.
Yeah, we force stroked you.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
This is clearly not over. This is clearly just another chapter
of course, in our favorite soap opera of As the Bloodline Turns.
Well, real quick
mark.
before I wanted to say something real quick before Brian went on that long rant.
Whoa,
But, it was a good rant. It was a good rant.
that's called
I enjoyed it.
monologues.
But now I wanted to say CM Punk is going to get the pin in this match, right? Because then he has something that he can hold over Roman, right?
Told you. So he can say,
Yeah,
I came and saved you.
He will say it. He will say it.
By the way, Roman, you're welcome.
Right. And that builds.
Are you a tribal chief
yet? That builds that rivalry right there. We don't have to touch it right now, like you did with Drew and Punk.
Right.
Or also with Punk and Seth. You don't have to touch it right then and there, but you're planting that seed for that feud later on down the line. So
that's also very true. And Triple H has been doing that lately.
Absolutely. So now you can go and do a Seth and Punk if you want. Or
and does Tiffany cash in? So her and Habu can be champions together?
On a US title?
No, she's gonna cash in.
Wow.
No. I don't know. I hope she do. Soon.
This is a situation where in many of our favorite TV shows, when they're not finished with something, but they have to move on, they just simply finish with a to be continued. So we will definitely follow up once again next week because it's going to be shenanigans, and we're fashioned to shenanigans. We know this is going to end something. It's going to be the beginning of something. It's going to lead to something else, but we will look forward to whatever it is they have next, man. This is, like I said, we're on the road to WrestleMania a lot earlier than usual, but join us next week once again for another episode of our favorite pro wrestling soap opera, As the Bloodline Turns. Don't forget to catch Survivor Series War Games this Saturday in Vancouver, Canada, November 30th.
Catch what? I didn't hear that.
6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. You guys gonna watch it? You guys gonna watch it live? Or you guys gonna catch the replay? What are we doing?
No, what do we gotta watch on Saturday, Realness?
I didn't say Saturday. I just said Survivor Series War Game. What's on Saturday?
No, I said, what is it called?
He wants you to play the Regal.
Oh, you got to do a better job than that. You got to say Survivor Series what? Because I was confused. I thought I missed something.
He was I was like, maybe he's asleep. I said, what is it called? You missed your whole cue.
No, it's okay. It's Survivor Series.
War Games of War Games. War Games. War Games.
Yeah, I was waiting to queue up the Survivor Series part. I was like, wait, what is it? What is it? But there we go. Survivor Series War Games. November 30th. 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Good brothers, we have to get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, and shout out to everybody that participated in the comments. Trust me, if you are not coming to the show live, you want to be a part of it. It's a lot of fun. This is the hottest conversation on a Wednesday night that goes deep into Thanksgiving as of today. So happy Thanksgiving to you, good brothers. I finished off my bottle apple cider vinegar. Martinelli's. Chris, talk to me. Let's make this happen. Sponsor the Wrestling Realm. That's right. I'm asking you publicly. But you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Join us next week. Follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. Subscribe to our Patreon, our Twitch, and our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm. Also follow Championship Culture at Championship Culture _ on Instagram. And don't forget, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on youtube.com/Wrestling Realm. Playlist Championship Culture. You can catch it live. You can catch the replay. All that and more when you get a chance. So, wrestling fans, stay wrestling fans. Until next time, we are out of here. Good brothers, we got to dip because it's time for Wrestling Realm After Dark. Peace. We gone. I can't even find the outro. Where's it at? There it is.
Houston, we have a problem.
For all exclusive shows and bonus material, subscribe to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/The Wrestling _Realm. You can watch all of our Wrestling Realm content anytime on youtube.com/The Wrestling Realm.